Now, one thing is for sure, as Iran and Israel walk towards a war, most of the Arab nations find themselves trapped in this unprecedented conflict. This is the neighborhood we are talking about. Syria, Iraq and Jordan are awkwardly positioned between Iran and Israel. To Israel's north is Lebanon. Not too far away, you have Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Yemen, Sudan, Morocco, Egypt. Some of these countries have Iran-backed armed groups, remember. I am talking about Iraq, Syria, Yemen, Lebanon. They have groups that are part of Iran's so-called axis of resistance. And then you have countries that have signed accords normalizing bilateral ties with Israel, which is a Jewish country and also the only country in the Arab world where Muslims are a minority. In 1979, Egypt established diplomatic ties with Israel. Jordan followed suit. This was in the year 1994. The US also brokered deals between the UAE and Israel, also Bahrain and Israel, Sudan and Israel. Will these countries be forced to take sides in the Israel-Iran war is the question. Will they be forced to fight Iran? Will they find themselves trapped in this war? These questions have spooked the Arab world. They are already putting out disclaimers they hope will stop them from being pulled into the war. Jordan's King Abdullah II has said that his country must not become, quote-unquote, the theater of a regional war. Speaking at the governorate of Mafraq, the Jordanian king said his country is committed to upholding its security and sovereignty above everything else. On Sunday, Jordan was among the group of countries that shot down Iranian missiles and drones on Israel's behalf. Jordan's King Abdullah claiming the country intercepted the missiles to safeguard its own sovereignty, not to defend Israel. And then you also have Saudi Arabia distancing itself from the weekend's attacks. Some Israeli media reports had claimed that Saudi Arabia also helped defend Israel, that the kingdom also intercepted Iranian missiles. But now, sources higher up in the kingdom have spoken to Arab media. They say that Saudi Arabia did not shoot down Iranian drones and missiles. And then you have Iraq, that finds itself on the other side of the table. Iran-backed Islamic resistance operates out of Iraq. And following Sunday's attacks, there was speculation that some of the projectiles could have been fired from Iraq, given its proximity to Israel. But now you have the Iraq Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani clarifying that his country has not received any reports or indications that missiles or drones were launched from Iraqi land. Al-Sudani said, and I'm quoting now, "Our position is clear and we will not allow Iraq to be thrown into the arena of conflict." So do you see the similarity in the Iraqi and Jordanian statements? It's a shared inclination. These Arab countries do not want to get pulled into a wider war. But then, do they even have a choice? Or are these countries handcuffed by America? I told you about pro-Iran militia in Iraq, but did you know that Iraq also has multiple American bases? There are some 2,500 American troops in Iraq. And we all know the side America is picking in the Israel-Iran war. US President Joe Biden has vowed ironclad support for Israel, meaning come what may, the US will be defending Israel. What about Iraq? Will it be forced to follow suit? Will it find itself in handcuffs and without a choice? America handcuffs countries with military bases, you see. Guess which other Arab countries have American bases? Jordan. King Abdullah II wants to stay out of the war, but then will Washington give him that choice when the time comes? And when sirens go off at American bases in Jordan? What about Qatar? America's largest base in West Asia is in Qatar. It is known as the Al Udeid Air Base. It was built in the year 1996. Bahrain also has a US naval base, NSA Bahrain, or Naval Support Activity Bahrain. It's the headquarters of the US Naval Forces Central Command, also the US Fifth Fleet. So will Bahrain be able to keep itself out of the war as American troops in Bahrain get pulled in the defense of Israel? The US also has bases in Kuwait. There is Camp Arifjan. US troops are reportedly also stationed at the Ali Al Salem Air Base. There are American troops in the UAE's Al Dhafra Air Base. It holds the Gulf Air Warfare Center, which is a training hub jointly operated by the UAE and America. The US has an outpost in Syria. There are US troops in Oman, Saudi Arabia. Before the war started, there were some 40,000 US military personnel in West Asia. That number has gone up since the October 7 Hamas attack. But the fact remains that if a war breaks out between Israel and Iran, say tomorrow, American troops in West Asia will get pulled in. US bases in West Asia will be in war mode. Will the forces fighting Israel, and by extension America, not attack or bomb these bases? Also, by extension, will the war not come to countries housing the American bases? Since the war in Gaza broke out, American bases in Syria and Iraq have already come under fire. An American secret base in Jordan was attacked by a drone. 3 American commandos were killed. I am referring to Tower 22, a base not many people had heard about before the drone attack. These bases are supposed to be highly guarded. They have air defense systems in place, but that has not stopped the attacks on them. Since October 7, US troops in West Asia have been attacked over 160 times. So far, these attacks were by Iranian proxies, but now the rules of the game have changed. There is no guarantee that the US bases will not be attacked if a wider war does break out. Some of the countries hosting will find themselves in a precarious position. Qatar, for example, it also hosts a political office of Hamas. Several high-ranking leaders of the Iran-backed group stay in Qatar. Qatar also hosts the office of Hamas's supreme leader, Ismail Haniyeh. Iraq also is an ally of both Iran and Israel's ally, the US. Syria has Iran-backed groups and US troops. Same with Lebanon. So then what happens when a war breaks out between Israel and Iran? Will these Arab countries really be able to stay out? To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.